And to be honest, I needed to talk to somebody that day.
Yeah.
And so to be able to hold space for people and just be like, you know what, today sucks.
Yeah.
And there's intentionality behind some of the triggers of policy, and I think we need to really address that. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I think just to even touch on what I felt the day Trump was elected, it was scary. I don't know if everybody else was scared, but I was really scared. I didn't know what was to come. You know what I'm saying? The fact that we all still here having this, you know what I'm saying? I didn't expect this. I just knew we were going to enter like a war or some type of crazy stuff, you know what I'm saying? Because of what comes out of his mouth, you know what I'm saying? Maybe he's not as bad as people make him seem, but what comes out of his mouth is like just a lot of things that I didn't agree with, you know what I'm saying? And it made me scared. It's like, yo, another thing that we got to deal with too?
Another thing, yes.
Another thing, and then like, I try not to be like a pessimist. I try to be optimistic about it. You know what I'm saying? But it was scary. It was really scary for me. But I'd like to consider myself, like I said, an optimist, and I always want to see the brighter side of things.
So in that balance of finding the brighter side of things and the silver lining and being optimistic, when you're finding that you are stressed, how do you know that you're stressed? Because I think a lot of times we're being irritable with people, or we feel sad, or kind of lashing out, or like you said earlier, we're numbing the pain with weed, we're numbing the pain with alcohol.
Yeah.
But for you, like, how do you know in the first place that you're stressed?
Well, I have anxiety, so sometimes, well, my anxiety is a physical feeling, so I might get chest pains, I might get headaches, I might be lightheaded. It's a physical feeling that I know I'm stressed. You know what I'm saying? Or if I feel like I can't make a decision, or I feel extremely unbalanced, like I gotta do this, I gotta do that, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. So it makes me fit, that is an indicator of stress for me personally. I can't say what everybody else feels when they feel stressed, but for me personally, if I feel like I can't make a decision, or if I feel like my judgment is cloudy, or I feel like a million things are coming at me at once,
right,
then that's how I know, like, yo, my stress level is extremely high.
So in the journey that you've been on, have you found that there's been other outlets for that stress in addition to music, or is it really music for you?
It's really music. So what amazed me was how much music was a stress reliever for me. So like, just going back to the passing away of my brother, right? When he passed away, all I could think about was I need to say something. And I couldn't run to my family because they're going through the same pain that I'm going through. So like I said, my mom is a strong person and she don't cry, right? But seeing her cry makes me want to cry. And then I just want to sit in my sorrows, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, yo, if I express this through music, you know what I'm saying? It's just literally just me, and the mic is like my therapist, right? And then I just talk into the mic. I just talk and just say how I feel 100%.
To be able to get it out.
Just to be able to get it out.
Release it, yeah.
Yeah, just to be able to get it out. And honestly, once I released that, I felt like I skipped like a couple steps in the grieving process. That's what I felt. Because once it came around time for, you know, his funeral service, right, like, I felt like, yes, my brother has passed away, but now I'm already in the zone. I'm mentally like, yo, nobody else should have to bury their son. Nobody else should have to bury their brother. You know what I'm saying? Even though I see my brother in a casket, I'm already thinking, how can I make sure that my homie from down the street don't get put in a casket? How can I make sure that my other brother don't get put in a casket? You know what I'm saying? So it just helped me skip a couple steps in the grieving process and helped me push me forward.
So one of the things I'm hearing you say is what a lot of people feel is good for them is, like you said, to be able to release that anxiety, to be able to release that sadness. And I think what we know about pain is that pain demands to be felt. No matter if you're an artist, no matter if you're a psychologist or a beautiful radio personality, pain demands to be felt. And I think having the opportunity to take the power and the intention, saying like, look, this sucks, let me actually do this to get rid of it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and to be able to work through that, that's really powerful.
Yeah, definitely. It was, like I said, it was the music became like the light in the darkest tunnel. And honestly, when I released that project, I just literally made it for like literally 20 people. I had the groups, because ironically I was mad at my brother's friends also, and then I was mad at the people who did the killing also. Because I was mad at his friends, like, yo, you knew he had children, you knew he had a life. You could have been like, nah, bro, let's stay in the house today. You knew something was coming. You know what I'm saying? That was my perception. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, if I'm your brother, right? If I'm your brother and I truly, truly love you, I'm gonna tell you, yeah, hey, it ain't safe.
Don't do that.
It ain't safe outside.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's real love. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yo, I want you to live. I don't want you to do reckless stuff. So when I made that, I was so angry and frustrated. I had people's faces in my head as I'm writing those songs. And once it came time for it to come out, and seeing that it was so well received was like even more of a stress reliever. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yo.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Oh, they get it? Oh. And then like a friend of mine, who was also a friend of my brother's, he hit me up on Facebook like, yo, I was so frustrated until I heard your tape. I wanted to kill somebody, and I realized I'm gonna be in the same cycle. That touched me. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yo, I just changed your perception? What? This was me ranting. This is my pain.
Right.
And I touched your soul. You know what I'm saying? So it was an amazing
But I think by you being able to acknowledge your pain, by you being able to express that, you give others that inspiration and motivation to be able to release theirs.
Yeah.
Because you validate that pain. You help people know, like, look, I'm not the only one going through something.
Yeah.
And what you were talking about with your brother's friend, actually a question I was gonna ask, how do you balance like your journey of growth and your kind of quest for this positivity with other negativity or other people who may not be at that same place? Because we all have those people in our lives, right?
Yeah. The way I tend to balance is everybody has their own journey and everybody deals with pain differently. Everybody deals with pain differently. Some people express it, some people write it down, some people take drugs, some people drink alcohol. Everybody deals with pain differently. And I'm not judging nobody. I'm not here to crucify anybody or anything like that. I understand. You know what I'm saying? In me trying to understand everyone, it gives me peace in a sense. That's what I would try to say. Like,
okay.
I'm gonna try to understand your pain instead of like almost like a God complex, looking down on them like, oh, you're doing A, B, C, and D. It's like, yo, I understand that you're going through pain, so it gives me peace because I've been there too, in a sense.
Yeah, that really resonates with you, right? Like you can acknowledge somebody else's pain and know that they have a different process from yours, but that we all go through that pain.
Exactly.
And in that, I'm even wondering, like, how do you manage that conflict, either with like yourself or with other people? Because we've all been through those arguments, right?
Yeah.
We've all had those nasty cries with people that we love.
Yeah.
We've had those arguments, verbal arguments with people in our lives. Like, how do you work through that?
My main thing is, like, I do not like to see people sad at all. Nobody, whether it be my child, my sister, my brother. I don't want to see nobody sad. You know what I'm saying? So
okay.
I'm very, very selective with my words and my frustration. Like, I'm the type of person where, let's just say I'm in the middle of an argument, I'm walking away. You might really hate me for walking away. I might be a coward or whatever you want to call me for walking away, but I will, because I don't want to say nothing that's going to make it worse. You know what I'm saying? Until I separate myself from this frustration and analyze my feelings, then I'll come back like, yo, okay, this is where I'm at. This is what I meant to say. This is what.
So in that process of taking that time away to take that breath to cool off for a second, how do you know when you're ready to re-engage with people? Because I think, and the reason why I'm asking you that is because a lot of people don't know that they need that breath.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't know when it's good for them to come back. So what people do is, like those who need breath, for example, they'll just stay in it. And they'll just keep yelling and they'll keep yelling without recognizing that. So how do you know when it's time for you to come back that way?
Well, my gift and also my curse is I'm an extreme overthinker. I like to, well, it's not a thing I like, but I overthink about everything. So I think about, yo, if I stay here, right, my emotions get high, your emotions get high. Two negatives, and this ain't math. If you're negative and I'm negative, it's not gonna make a positive at all. This is not multiplication at all, right? So if I'm really frustrated and you're really frustrated, only negative things are gonna happen from that frustration. And I understand that, and I see, to me, honestly, like I see a bigger purpose for my life and people's life around me. So with that bigger purpose in the back of my head always, it's like this constant ringing sound. I know, like, yo, if I take this to that next level, this can happen, and then that can happen, and then that can happen, and then that can happen, and then my whole life is a bust. You know what I'm saying? So I honestly, like, just to even go towards that. So the night my brother passed away, right? We were all at the hospital in the waiting room, right? And the indicator for me that he was gone is, I don't know the young lady's name, but she just comes screaming down the hallway my brother's name, and it's like he's gone, right? And I instantly went black. I was like, I have to kill someone. I have to kill someone, right? Somebody has to pay for this. But literally, this is why I believe in a higher power. 2 days before that, I found out my lady was pregnant. She was with me.
Wow.
Right? She was with me when my brother passed away. And I'm thinking, all right, if I go kill someone, right, or someone has to pay for this, right, then my child is left without a father. So now that's 2 of my mom's sons gone, whether I'll be in jail or something happens to me, right? So that's 2 of my mom's sons gone for someone else's frustration. You know what I'm saying? When my brother passed away, it wasn't his frustration that led to his death, it was someone else's frustration, right? So 2 of my mom's sons gone due to someone else's pain. And I thought about that, and I'm like, yo, I don't want my daughter not to have a father. You know what I'm saying? Because I have a father, and I know the importance of it. I know the importance of having parents, man. It's very extremely important to have parents. So,
how they shape our lives and understanding. Yeah. Any parents in the audience?
Hold on, we're gonna ask that again. That was so dry.
Yeah,
oh my God. Oh my God. Any parents in the house?
There we go.
Thank you. Thank you, Mom.
Just had Mother's Day. There we go. Father's Day coming up. That's powerful, man.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering, either from your parents, from other people in your life growing up, where did the understanding of I need to understand and be aware of my emotions come from? Because, and the reason why I'm asking you this is because you were able to name, I feel so frustrated, and I feel so filled with anger.
Yeah.
And a lot of people either, like I shared earlier, don't know or don't realize that, or if and when they do realize that, they actually try to push that away.
Yeah.
So where did you start to hear, like, you know what, I need to express these emotions?
Honestly, I bottled a lot of stuff in for the longest. Like through my high school years, I bottled a lot of stuff, and I was.
Sure.
But I think it was around like 2021 where I released some emotion in music, and it felt good. Like, yo, this feels extremely good. I feel better. I'm not hurting anymore. I let that go.
Did you notice like an internal change when you started, you know what, damn, like this actually feels good to say like, I'm sad, even though we don't want you to be sad, obviously, but just to be able to let that out. Did you start to realize that?
Yeah, well, honestly, so I went through like an extremely spiritual phase in my life. Like, I don't want to call it a phase, but it's an extremely spiritual time.
Like an awakening almost?
Like an awakening,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
And just that prayer was a release in itself. So just prayer in itself was like, I feel better. I released that. So then that just literally turned into on top of beats. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so even for members of our audience or folks who are going to be listening to the podcast later, do you have a sense of what you would want to tell them if they're struggling to think about their emotions and like kind of in that phase of where you were earlier about bottling everything up and not letting it out?
What I would want to say to people who's dealing with any type of bottled emotions is, you're not alone. You know what I'm saying? I realized that for the longest time. By me expressing my feelings and saying it to someone literally can empathize with it. Like, yo, I went through that too. I've been through that too. You know what I'm saying? And then that gives you a piece of serenity too. It's like, oh, you felt my pain, you've been through this too? Oh, I can come talk to you, now we can have a conversation. Oh, you've been through what I've been through? Oh, and you got past it, how'd you do it? What steps did you take? You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. I think 2 of the things I really want to highlight. One, when we're going through different mental health concerns and emotions, a lot of that feels like such an isolating period.
Yeah.
Like we're the only ones going through this. We're the only ones that know our pain, and we can't express that.
Yeah.
And the second